Whether NATO as an organization, as the Secretary implied yesterday, can play a stronger role is really something I think we have to see as we go forward. We certainly would welcome all kinds of multinational help here. We've got 33 other countries already on the ground with us on the military side, and I've got citizens from 17 countries here working in CPA. But anything we can do to make it a multinational operation ought to be considered, and I'm sure these discussions that were kicked off in Brussels yesterday will continue now in the weeks ahead.
You're facing some challenges by some key and influential Shiite figures.
That I think people realize that holding full-scale elections at this point is really not a good option. It would not lead to a feeling of legitimacy in the process. But I think we'll find a way that satisfies both people in the governing council and leading Shia religious leaders on a way to go forward to implement the November 15 agreement, which is what we all want to do.
Reluctant members of NATO to come on board in the current climate.
You know, first of all, most of NATO members are here. Between now and the end of June, we will actually see an increase in attacks because the people who are against us now realize that there's huge momentum behind both the economic and political reconstruction of this country. We predicted back in September, when it became clear that the reconstruction momentum was picking up, that we were going to restore hospitals and schools and electricity, that we would have more attacks from these dead-enders because they could see that the momentum was building. Now we're getting ready to spend billions of dollars here on building out the electricity, on building out the hospitals, on fixing the railroads, and the dead-enders can see that this momentum is, plus the fact that the Iraqi people are going to get their sovereignty back, this spells trouble for them. And so I think we will actually go through a phase now where we'll see increased attacks. Here since June, in effect, 6 months, not a very long time, and he will be reporting as he finds whatever else he finds.
Is it possible?
We get a lot of intelligence about Saddam's location. It's like most intelligence, it's very hard to tell what's valid and what's not, and in the case of Saddam's stuff, it's even harder. We follow the leads that make sense, and we will get him sooner or later, but I'm not going to make any predictions as to when that would be. It would be important to get him, there's no question, because the fact that he is still at large gives some life to the idea among the killers who followed him that they might somehow come back to power. And make no mistake, that's what they're after. They don't have a vision of Iraq that involves anything that is sympathetic to Iraqi people. Their vision is to reinstall the brutal tyranny of Saddam Hussein, and the people of Iraq will not support that. They're working with us to find ways to do that. The Governing Council has already appointed 2 committees to work on implementation of the Iraq. I'm confident that we will find, and indeed we've already begun to find in some ways, evidence of programs in chemical and biological weapons, as Dr. K has already said. Beyond that, I don't make any predictions. I think it's important to let Dr. K finish his work. He's really only been here since June, in effect. People realize that holding full-scale, say, we're not going to tolerate militia. It is inconsistent with a sovereign, free Iraq to have party militia or other ethnic-based militia in the country. There are going to be national security forces, the new Iraqi army, the civil defense force, and national police force. These groups we have welcomed them, putting their people into these standing organizations, like the Civil Defense Force. They come in as individuals, they don't come in as groups. They get mixed together the way everybody does. And therefore, and because some of them are skilled fighters, they will actually bring us new skills. And we have terrorists here. We have large numbers of professional trained terrorists here, Al-Qaeda related terrorist groups. And we have terrorists here. We have large numbers of professional trained terrorists here, Al-Qaeda related terrorist groups. What we are doing is essentially 3 things: improving our intelligence against them, making our forces lighter and more mobile so that they can deal with this threat, which is different than a ground war, and finally putting more and more Iraqis into the fight for their own country through the security services, through the police, the new Iraqi army, and the Civil Defense Corps. And as we build up those forces, we are finding, as we expected, that we're getting better intelligence about these people, because the Iraqis will be better at knowing who are the people who are around, who are the strangers in the neighborhood, who's speaking with not an Iraqi accent. And we're getting better intelligence, and as we get better intelligence, we will succeed in putting these people down. And then we got things moving a lot faster. But it was actually quite, I've been in government for almost 40 years, in and out. I've never seen a secret held this long. It was really quite extraordinary.
Thank you, sir.